Hi guys, just out in the sunshine in the UK. I thought I'd make a video because I come across this fascinating interview with Vernon Presley at Memphis, Gracelands, and I thought the questions being asked were really interesting and that the subscribers and the Elvis fans would love to watch. So let's watch it together.
Oh, he has 56 singles that sold over 1 million copies, 56 gold records now. And 16 albums that sold over 1 million copies. Well, 18 albums with the two over here. 56 singles and 18 albums, gold records.
And what was it like for Elvis in those first days?
I love this question, and he looks so relaxed. This is obviously before Elvis had passed away.
He was kind of different from the rest of the guys, wasn't he?
Well, in some ways, some of the clothes he wore was different. The way he wore his hair was quite different to what there was back then, you know. And he was criticized quite often about it, but it really didn't bother him. He didn't change it. He went on like he was anyway.
And one of the things I've learned about Elvis is that he was heavily influenced by his surroundings in Tupelo, Mississippi, and the Shake Rag areas, and the friends he made in those areas, and the school he went to. So his dress was completely different. His hairstyle, and even the way he acted and walked, was massively affected by his very humble upbringing. Let's keep watching.
What was that story you told me about, you know, when you first decided to go into show business? Did you have any inkling?
No, he called me into his room one day there, I believe it was shortly after he got out of high school, and he said, I want to be an entertainer. And I said, well, you know, I don't know much about that sort of thing, but you deal with quite a few people in the business. I said, why don't you talk to some of them and see what you got to do to get into it, you know.
Great question. And I think Vernon's actual reply to Elvis when he told him he wanted to be an entertainer was, I never met an entertainer worth a damn.
At that time, he was more interested in the gospel singing, the quartet singing, you know. So he tried for 2 or 3 different of the young groups to get in with them, and they was either full or they didn't think he could sing good enough or something. I don't know what happened.
And it's very clear that Elvis loved his gospel music and his Southern gospel quartet singing, and really enjoyed singing in church. And this was the direction he wanted to go in for a while.
Then after he made this record, quite a few of the quartet groups wanted him then, and so he talked to me about it again, you know. He said, what would you do? He said, I can get into the quartet singing now in the gospel field.
So the interview cuts off there, and the next question is basically about how when Elvis performed all around America, the effect it would have with the crowds and the fans. Let's keep listening.
During those shows too.
Well, they learned that you had to have plenty of security, you know, to keep the people back. Otherwise, he couldn't perform. He couldn't put on a show. They'd rush the stage before he got through. And one place he told me about where he was appearing, he sung part of one song and had to leave the stage and didn't go back because they tore the stage all to pieces.
And we all know that Elvis, wherever he went, was mobbed, which ultimately led to him employing the Memphis Mafia, and he really couldn't go anywhere without literally being attacked by fans, but in a good way.
What is the thing he likes to do?
Well, I think the main thing that he really wants to do when he's on stage is to please the audience, you know. If he don't feel that he has, he gets kind of upset about it. I think that's his main ambition in life, is when he's, on stage, is to please his audience, you know, make them happy.
And I've heard this on so many interviews. He really did put his fans first. He really did want to put on a great show to a high standard, a good quality show that people would walk away feeling that they got their money's worth. It was so important to him.
What's he like before he goes on stage?
Well, he does a number of songs that I like very much. I think that trilogy, American trilogy, that he's been doing on tour is one of the greatest things that he's done, you know, really. It seems to hit me more than anything he's done recently.
So great question there. He goes on to talk about the trophy room.
We call this the trophy room, where we keep all of Elvis's plaques, trophies, awards, what have you. Citations that he has gotten through the years. For instance, here on this wall we have gold records, 56 singles, and 18 albums that sold over 1 million copies.
Well, that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that interview. I think quite a rare interview. I've never seen this interview before. I think Vernon looked great, and it just gives us an insight into the real Elvis Presley and Vernon's views on Elvis Presley as an entertainer and on his history and how from his humble beginnings he started off, and then the effect of his success had on his concerts and his live shows. Thanks everyone, all the best.